How did black markets impact communist economic reforms? Imagine a world where the government controls every product, every price, and every resource. Now picture how people find ways around these strict rules. That's where black markets come into play. During the Cold War era, especially in communist countries, these underground markets grew quickly. They started because shortages of goods were common, and the government's plans often didn't match what people actually needed or wanted. When official stores ran out of everyday items like food, clothes, or household goods, people turned to black markets to get what they couldn't find legally. These markets sold goods at prices that reflected real supply and demand, unlike the fixed prices set by the state. This made the shortages more obvious and showed how inefficient central planning really was. Black markets also challenged the idea that everyone should have equal access to resources. In these hidden shops, wealthier people or those with connections could buy more or better goods. This created disparities that went against the official ideology of equality. As a result, the government's image of a fair society started to crack. The existence of these markets pushed leaders to rethink their policies. They realized they had to make some changes to keep people happy and prevent unrest. So, reforms like allowing limited private businesses or easing controls were introduced. For example, in the Soviet Union, reforms like the new economic policy in the early 1920s and later changes in China aimed to include some market elements. These adjustments tried to bring black market activities into the open and regulate them better. Black markets also acted as a safety valve for the economy. When official channels failed to meet demand, these underground networks kept goods flowing. They helped avoid bigger crises and kept social stability intact. But relying on black markets also slowed down the push for full reforms. Governments hesitated to make big changes because they feared losing control or encouraging more illegal activity. During the Cold War, as economic stagnation worsened, black markets became more widespread and harder to control. Their growth sometimes conflicted with efforts to modernize socialist economies. Corruption increased, and the state's ability to enforce reforms weakened. Currency and foreign exchange controls also felt the impact. Official exchange rates often didn't match what you could get on the black market. This discrepancy made it difficult for countries to manage their money and trade with other nations. Overall, black markets revealed the limits of communist economic plans. They showed that central control couldn't fully meet people's needs and that some form of market activity was inevitable. Their presence pushed governments to adapt, but it also made reform efforts more complicated during the Cold War and as the communist bloc started to dissolve.